Lakshmi?
Yes, sir, we can start.
Welcome and good afternoon. Welcome to GST Zen monthly learning series, and happy to have an interaction with you on the topic managing notice. Especially when you get a notice, the common thing is like a worry that is there any liability that is coming, will there be a cash outflow, what's the time it will take, how much cost it will happen. Sometimes you might also get into encounter an issue, someone saying that, hey, this has been served to you long back and why did you not respond, is a point that would come up, right? And today's webinar with me, I have Anmol, who will be walking us through how GST Zen can resolve these litigation issues. So today's webinar about understanding what is a notice, what do we do a notice comes, and how GST Zen is going to help users in resolving matters relating to the notice. My name is Venugopal. I've been into practice since 2002 and I take care of the domain expertise in GST Zen, and Anmol is the developer heading on the notice related services. And with us, we have Lakshmi, who will be supporting on any technical issues on the GST product. Feel free to interact. Feel free to ask any question, whether it is relating to GST domain or a notice related or using a GST Zen application. We will tentatively take around 45-50 minutes to wrap up the whole session, and we'll take Q&A at the end. Anmol, over to you. Anmol, are you able to share, or
just a moment, sir.
Me share the... Maybe Lakshmi, you should make Anmol as presenter.
Is it visible now, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Am I audible properly, Lakshmi?
Yes.
Okay. So before we completely understand the true meaning of what GST notice is, let's first understand what a notice is. Let's say, one second. Okay, cool. Let us understand this notice with the help of a simple example. We have all received some of the other kinds of notice in our daily life, like in schools, colleges, banks, or some authorities. For instance, let's assume that it is a very hot and sunny day, and I am going to office by my bike, and I am stuck in a signal near Jayanagar, and there is a ambulance behind me. So I decided to jump the signal so that I can make way for the ambulance to, go ahead and reach the hospital as early as possible. So after some time, I get a notice from the traffic authority saying that, hey Anmol, we have found some discrepancy and you have, violated the law there by jumping the signal. So here, a clear communication is happening between the traffic authority and me. So they have sent me a notice saying that I have violated the law there, so that I can note down that such thing has happened, and after that, either I can pay the fine and settle down the matter then and there itself, or either I can give them a proper clarification why such thing has happened. Likewise, coming to the GST notice, it is a formal communication happening between a GST authority and a taxpayer. if a customer, let's say I am a taxpayer here, if I receive a GST notice, it clearly signals that a GST authority might have found some discrepancy or a problem, or they might need some clarifications for the things that have already happened, like in the invoices that I have submitted or in the filings. So now that we know what a GST notice is, let us also understand why or how a notice might get triggered. There are several factors why a notice might get triggered. Let us go through it one by one. Let's say I'm a taxpayer here, and if I have not filed my GSTR 1, 3B, or annual returns on time, yes, then I will receive a notice. If there is a mismatch in GSTR 1 versus 3B, that means the output tax declared in GSTR 1 is exceeds the tax paid in GST 3B, I will get a notice there. Likewise, if there is a mismatch in GSTR 2B versus 3B, that is nothing but ITC claimed in GSTR 3B exceeds the ITC reflected in 2B, yes, I will get a notice there. Let's say I'm running a big business here and I want to, move the goods from one place to another. And if I do that without a proper documentation, that is e-way bill, yes, then also I might get a notice. Or let's sometimes, some people submit some fake invoices or some suppression of facts. And if authority finds such things, then for sure we will get a notice. So here we need to understand one thing, that each notice is a stage in a particular case. So let us understand the case life cycle further in the upcoming slides. Before that, can I assume that I will get a same kind of notice for multiple different scenarios? The answer is no. We will not get the same kind of notice for different scenarios. We have different types of notices indicating a different meaning. So let us go through it one by one. So firstly, we have a DRC01A notice. So this is nothing but a pre-warning just to avoid a litigation. This is a pre-show cause notice intimation. Here, the authority is trying to intimate us that they have found some problem and hey, you have the chance to solve the problem early. So it is just sent before a formal notice and it gives me as a taxpayer a chance to pay or explain my position there. And next we have the DRC01B notice. It highlights the underpayment of our output tax. Let's say the government authority has found the output tax mismatch in where GSTR1 tax claimed is more than GSTR3B. This is when authority sends me a DRC01B notice. Then we have DRC01C. It is a very common notice related to the excess ITC claim from ineligible suppliers or, you know, if the credit is avoided beyond the eligible limits. It happens when ITC claim is more than the ITC available in the GSTR 2B. Next, we have the DRC01 notice. This is where actual litigation part starts. So DRC01 is nothing but a show cause notice. It is a formal legal notice sent under the section 73 or 74. Here, the GST authority just asks us that why the tax as well as the penalty should not be demanded from the authority side. And then we have the DRC03 notice. Uh, this is nothing but the voluntary payment that me as a taxpayer will do. It just helps me to reduce the penalty if I pay it little early. And then we have one more notice called DRC06. This is nothing but a reply that we give to the show cause notice issued by the GST authority. This, in simple words, we can say that it is a formal reply submitted by the taxpayer to the authority. And finally we have the DRC07 notice. This is nothing but the order summary submitted by the GST authority. This will be the final order issued by the officer. So it means it concludes the proceedings at the department level. We also have some more notices like ASMP notices. We will get to know about that notice in detail in the case lifecycle journey. Now that I mentioned that GST authority might send the formal SCN show cause notice under the section 73 or 74. Here we have a slide, which gives us a brief description about section 73 and section 74. We also have Venu sir joined in this call. So, sir, can you just give a brief explanation about this?
Yes. So, thank you, Anmol. Now, friends, if you notice, whatever Anmol said, there are various reasons why a notice has been given. Basically, department is saying that we have noted some discrepancy, and the classic example Anmol gave about jumping the signal, traffic authorities have noticed he jumping the signal and they're asking a reason, show cause why a penalty shall not be levied. Now he has his way, he can go and defend the case. Likewise, now the department is going to make a demand. So that is why we call it as SCN show cause notice, a demand why tax cannot be demanded from you either under section 73 or 74. Effective from 1st April 24, this has been now moved to 74A. Basically, the department looks at the case whether it is intentional or unintentional. When we say intentional, that means you have suppressed the tax. The tax has been suppressed and ITC has been wrongly availed. So the fundamental thing, if you are looking at is whether it is an intentional or unintentional. So the words used is suppression of the tax, wrongful availment of the ITC. When they feel that it is something you are not supposed to do, you are not supposed to do, and you have done, it would be called as the case of fraud, and the department would levy penalty under section 74. Now, what happens when the penalty is under section 74? The penalty, if you see the last one, is 100% of the tax. However, there are stages. There is a minimum penalty of 15%. If you are making the payment even before the notice, you just pay 15% and be with it. Within 30 days of the show cause notice, when you pay, it is 25% penalty. Within 30 days of the demand order, you make the payment, it is going to be 50% of the penalty. So there are staggered things. What has changed between 73, 74 to 74A is this 30 days has become 60 days. So the time limit they are giving is 60 days. And under 73, there is a minimum penalty of 10% or 10,000 rupees. Again, if you are making the payment within 30 days of the show cause notice, there is no penalty. So the 30 has become 60 days in 74A. Even here, will these penalties be eternally? Like that Anmol's case of jumping the signal, how long police can wait, and 10 years later, can they wake up and say that, hey, 10 years back, you know what, you jumped the signal and we forgot to levy a penalty on you, here is a challan. Can they do so? Answer is no. And that is where there are time limits. The order under section 73 has to be issued within 3 years, and the order under section 74 has to be issued within 5 years. However, for making a demand order, which is like finality, it is like it has concluded the liability. Before that, the order, there is a notice that is to come. So in case of section 73, 3 months before issuing of the order, the notice should have been served. So that means order notice date and the order date, there should have been a gap of 3 months, because I need to have an opportunity to respond. In case of section 74, there needs to be a 6 months gap for issuing of the notice before the order. Right. Now, what happened in 74A? 74A, they have changed, instead of putting the order date, they have moved to notice date. So they have taken a middle part between 36 months and 62 months. They said notice shall be served within 42 months. Notice shall be served within 42 months. And within 1 year from the date of serving of notice, they will be concluding the order. So the timelines got changed. Let's proceed, Anmol.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the explanation. So yeah,
Next
let
slide.
us proceed with the next slide.
Yeah.
So
Let me
in the
take
previous,
this slide also.
yes, sir.
Yeah. Now this Anmol is going to walk us through with the live how GST Zen is going to solve. And this is the journey of the litigation for everyone or anyone. It can originate at any stage. Not necessary that it is originating from stage 1 and going to stage 7. It can originate from middle of the case. Next, it can conclude at any stage. Certain things can conclude originated at stage 1 and died in stage 1 also. Like officer has issued a notice saying that, hey, value in your receivable is more than the value in your invoice or GST or what. I would reply that I have sent the material on delivery challan, not a supply for display purposes. So certain things can be dropped at the first stage itself, or certain things can be dropped at any stage. But this is the journey of a case, a litigation, a suit. During the journey, there would be multiple documents. The documents originating from the system where the department has identified the issues. The documents which are like, I have sent a reply. If you see properly, the cases, I think something, let me share this. Yeah. So the stage could be, first stage is an intimation. Now, why I have written DRC01A is one of the example. Either it could have been ASMT 10 under section 61 or ADT 1 and ADT 2 under section 65. You had INS 01 under section 67 and followed by DRC01A. Or you had a summons under section 70 and during the course of summons hearing, they would have issued a notice. So the notice could have been initiated, originated for anything. It could be section 64, 63, 64 for a best judgment assessments like 62, 63 and 64. It could have been any of that, right? So the first stage is intimation, or we can call it as pre-consultation notice DRC01A. So ASMT 10, ADT 01, ADT 02, INS 01 or DRC01A. This is your first stage where there is a dispute which is being erased before a show cause notice is being issued. So what is the second stage is actual show cause notice being issued. Show cause why a penalty or a tax or an interest shall not be levied on you. And that is DRC01. And the sections under which this would be concluded or taken up is section 73 and 74. Would make our reply and there would be a personal hearings and everything. After that, there would be an adjudication. So this process of stage 2 is called adjudication. During the course of adjudication, officer would here make a conclusion. That conclusion would result into a demand. We call it as DRC07. That's my stage 3. So there is a dispute. Now at this point, you have two choices. Choice number 1, you are okay to pay. Okay to pay, either saying that, okay, the tax amount is small or it is not worth litigating further. You don't agree with the tax, but you're okay at the cost of buying piece, you're okay and willing to pay the tax. That could be the situation. Or you don't agree with the tax. So now the stage 3 can be categorized into 3 aspects. Aspect number 1, you don't agree with it. So that means you're disputing. So there is a disputed tax. Then there is an undisputed. You agree with it and you want to pay it. But you still want to choose your right to appeal. You may undispute it or you dispute it, you may want to pay it. So it can flare into anything. Now you make the payment and you have a 90 days time, 3 months for you to file an appeal. It's a 3 months time for you to file an appeal. So from DRC 07, we are moving to APL 01, section 107. So you will either go to Joint Commissioner Appeals or Commissioner Appeals looking at the order who has passed. If an AC has passed an order, you go to JC. If JC has passed an order, you go to Commissioner Appeals. At this point, before you go to the appellate authority, we call it as appellate authority, you have to pay a 10% of disputed tax. Whatever the tax you are disputing, 10% of it. If it is ITC, 10% of the ITC, right? If there is nothing disputed, you have to pay 100% of it and you can still go for an appeal. Yeah. So the disputed, you have to pay 10% and you will file an appeal. Now there are appeal proceedings that would happen. So you are in the clutches of the department. The department has heard and they have given you an appeal order. The earlier is the order in original, we call it as OIO, and the officer you are meeting under 107 is FAA, is the first appellate authority, right? Now you are not happy with the appellate authority's order. When you are not happy is when you will go to the next appeal. So the case moves to the next stage. So section 112 deals with it, and GSTs which got formed in the last year, where the pre-deposit expectation is 20%. 10% you have already paid, so you will be paying 10%. Now, this 10% is in addition to the previous 10%. The question that comes up, should I pay it in cash or can I use electronic credit ledger? This has been disputed, and many forums the high courts have held otherwise, also saying that even the tax can be paid otherwise through electronic credit ledger. Only interest and penalty is not permitted. Hence, the disputed tax can be paid through input tax credit also. Now, at this stage, stage 5, we call GST appellate tribunals, where we call it as tribunal. It is a quasi-judicial body. A representative from the judicial forum would be there. A representative from the department is there. So it is kind of unbiased and an independent forum taking a decision. Now, at this point, you are going under second appeal. If you are not happy with that, then you can go to High Court, section 117 under stage 6, and you can go to stage 7 Supreme Court. There is one other case where you can bypass. We have Article 226, which will permit you to go to High Court when there is a fundamental right is violated. There are various fundamental rights, and either on the grounds of equality under 14 or Article 19(1)(g), where the survival of your business is at risk because of this order, you can skip the chain and directly go and stand in front of the High Court. So this we call it as a writ. Writ jurisdiction can also be done. So a matter which has been aggrieved from a lower court can go to High Court. A matter which is affecting the fundamental right can also go to High Court. All right. But the violation and approach to High Court will be condoned, pardoned, and the writ admission maintainability is at the jurisdiction of the High Court. The judge would take care of it. Yeah. And at each stage, there is a timelines, and at each stage, you will be making a reply. So that means it's a case and stage. That is what we are going to see, how GST is going to help in handling the cases on a long-term basis. Let me now stop sharing and have Anmol present. Yes, Anmol. Anmol? Lakshmi, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. If Anmol is there, he can continue. Otherwise, we will continue to the what do we do on the when a notice comes.
Sir, you can continue.
Okay. All right. So let's look at what happens when a notice comes and how do I deal with it on the notice. Managing notice is really important, and it's an art. It is less of a science and more of an art. Now let's look at practically what do we do when a notice comes. Generally we get worried, right? There's nothing to panic. Either a SMT10, DRC01, DRC01A, whatever. First and foremost, be calm. And there are two things that you need to identify in a notice. Notice should be replied on technical matters and on merits. What are the technical matters? Look at the officer who has sent you the notice. Does he have the jurisdiction? In the earlier side, I said there are timelines. Notice should be issued 3 months before the order, and the order should be issued within 3 years or 5 years. Whether those timelines have been adhered to, the period under which the notice is being called for, has there already been another assessment happened? If there is audit currently going, can another officer come and say that I would do an investigation? Is parallel proceedings permitted? I am subject to SGST jurisdiction, but CGST officer is calling and asking the information. Look at all the technical aspects of it. If there is a limit, state government said if the tax amount involved is more than 10 lakhs, then it has to be not a superintendent or not an inspector. There is a state level limits that have been sent. Is that being taken care? Look at all the things. Then the next thing that you have to do is by when you should reply. There are 3 dates always. First, date on which the notice has been drafted. Date on which notice has been served. Last, their communication, when did you receive? Now, they would have posted on 3rd of April, but you have received only on 7th April. Now, does the 3rd and 7th April matters? Yes. The 30 days timeline, 60 days, 90 days timeline count from there. So you can always fight for it. Just because an officer has passed an order on 1st January, it doesn't mean that my time to reply is 31st January. My time to reply starts from the day I was aware about it. How was I aware? Was it in the portal? It's not my duty to check on the portal everything. So the 169 has the modes of serving communication. There are multiple modes that have been defined. Around 13 different ways an officer can reach you. Now ensure there are at least 2 more notes that are there, either physical copy, hard copy, soft copy on the portal. Pick any of that, take the last date. That is the date on which you have communicated. And from that date, your journey starts. Next thing that you should see when you are making the reply is evidence collection. Whatever the information that has, so we have moved from the technical to merit side of it. Whatever the information that has been asked for or alleged. So this is, we generally call it as impugned notice or impugned order because you don't agree with it. Now, this notice or order, you have to look from, firstly, is it talking about additional tax collection, or is it talking about reversal of ITC? Is it talking about a valuation issue, classification issue? Is it talking about the time of supply, place of supply? Look at the different ingredients in the document. Now, there are evidences. So is it basis the evidence which they have collected or the evidence they have issued? Is my response in line to that, is what you have to see. So you have to now start looking at, is the you are rebutting your facts, you are rebutting allegation. What is that you are not okay with? Now, facts might be correct, so then the allegation may be wrong. Allegation is based on the facts, and facts would have been misrepresented or misread, misunderstood. You are rebutting that. So understand all of that. Then move to drafting the reply. Again, today we are in the world of AI. AI can help you to craft your reply. So advantage of technology, you can always craft your reply using the technology. Make sure you address each and every point which is given in the notice. Please do not leave anything that is not in the notice. Reply everything. Reply with supporting documents. Ensure you give your proper legal submissions. Court section number, court rule number, court notification, court circular reference. Quote the very important thing many people miss is the GST council meetings, minutes of it, the agenda and the reasoning why the change has been brought in. Whenever there is a confusion, you can always say the benefit out, there is no intention to evade, right? And the recent judgments which could have turned the cases, like classic section 7 on supply Calcutta Club, which traveled to Supreme Court and Supreme Court said no levy. Then the act got amended. Then we have recent Indian Medical Association case in Kerala High Court, which said that, okay, on the mutuality, there cannot be tax. So now you got to refer the latest cases, and the grounds on which this case has been issued has to be read. Every case is important in its own way. Judgment runs into 100 pages. Today we have the technology which can summarize it. Please do read the reading of the judgment in detail. And you should always consult a chartered accountant, a senior chartered accountant. Even though you are doing your homework, I would always suggest speak to a chartered accountant, get an independent view and move on. Now, while making the reply, make sure that you rebut every allegation, the grounds on which. So there is a statements of fact, we call it as SOF, and there are grounds of appeal, GOA. Please make sure you treat everything, every aspect you're rebuting. You can't be silenced. Very important. You also have to give the reasoning. Now, it might not be a speaking order. That's okay. Your reply shouldn't be dull. You got to give your reasoning and why it has to be analyzed in this way. Do all the references. Make sure that you always make a prayer. After having said all of this, you may say that, isn't it logical to say that the tax is not applicable? That's what you may feel. It's not logical. What is logical is you ask relief. Relief for what? Remove the tax, remove interest, remove penalty. Again, do not make a presumption that I have not asked for a prayer for penalty, so that has not to be heard. No, everything is connected. Next, ask for an alternative plea. If at all it is leviable to tax, why not under 73? Why under 74? Allow ITC. So make every aspect in the prayer. Yeah. So what we will do is I will switch from the theory. We will log into the portal and GST Zen, how we can get the data, how we can create the case, how we can draft the reply. We will look at all of it. So Anmol, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Let me just share my screen. Okay. So, is the screen visible, sir?
Not yet.
Just a second. Yes, it is visible now, right, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, this is once we log into our notices by GStism, this is our home page. So, firstly, let us go through the common sections that are common across every page and every modals here. So firstly, in the top right, we have the users my account section. So we have the settings here. This is nothing but where you can see our personal information like full name details, email address as well. And we have the team member section here. So this is nothing but we can see all the sub users listed under the particular customer account. And let's say if we want to add a new customer sub user to this, here we have the GSTizen redirection link provided so that you can move to the GSTizen website and add a sub user there, and it will get reflected in our notices by GSTizen website. And then we have the GST management team. So this is nothing but the list of GSTNs in a particular customer's account. Here we can see some brief details about GST number, trade names, and if we want to add a particular GSTN, we can go ahead and add a single or a bulk addition of GSTNs here. And we also have this billing section where this is nothing but the subscription that customers purchase. And if we have any particular queries regarding a subscription, you can either call our support team or mail to them. And we have the notification view. This is nothing but, let's say, a customer might want a notification to get triggered only when new cases are added, or let's say he wants notifications to get triggered for both cases as well as notice. So here we can set it up as a customer particularly needs. So now let us switch back to the main section here. This is our dashboard. This is a global dashboard where we can see some brief details about the recent things that have happened in a particular customer's account. Let's say a new case has been created recently. We can see it under the active litigation cases here. And below that, we have this exposure analysis section. This gives us an idea about how many cases are present in what states. Let's say here you can see that here in under Punjab, we have two cases. In Karnataka, under Karnataka, we have one case. Likewise, we can see the number of cases listed per the state. And beside that, we have this calendar view. This is nothing but the upcoming events view. Let's say we have received a notice and the date of reply for that particular notice is on 30th of this month. So if you go to this, we have a reminder saying that, yes, this is an upcoming event, so we need to work on it. And we have the recent notices here. These are nothing but the list of notices that have recently been created. And this active GSTNs is nothing but the logged in GSTNs, which is logged in with the government portal. And let us move to the GSTN list tab. So here we can see the list of GSTNs listed under a particular customer. So here we have our GSTN 1ZR, and under this login status, we can see that it is currently logged in. So normally, if it is not logged in, we will get a login button here. Once we click on that, it will just prompt us to enter the username and the OTP, just like how it happens in GST. And let's say if I want to sync the notices for my particular GSTN1ZR, I can just simply click on this. It is getting synced. So yeah, it is getting synced now. And once we come on, just a second. Yeah. Once we come to the particular cases dashboard, this is nothing but the list of, here we can see the list of cases that have been created after we sync the particular notice or case for a particular GSTN. So here we can see the list of cases created irrespective of the GSTNs here. Let's say if I want to move to a particular cases under a particular GSTN, here we can go to switch to the GSTN list tab. Here we can click on it, and here also we can see there is a notices created under the particular GSTN, and we have the switchable tabs above. That is nothing but notices and cases here. We have a notices created. We have two notices created under our clouds and software labs. So okay, let us switch back to the cases dashboard here. If I want to see a particular detail about one individual case, here we can click on any case. So yeah, this is nothing but the case detail page. Here we can get some brief information about the case that has been created. Here we can see the case summary tab. This just tells us how many notices are under this particular case and how many tasks have been created for that. Let us go through the tasks somewhat later. And here is the most important part. Here we have the case life cycle thing. This is what Venu sir was talking under litigation journey thing. So here, as you can see, we have pre-notice, notice and demand, appeal one, appeal two, and other. So here you guys can see that we have one notice under notice and demand, and we have one more notice under the other section. So it says that we have received one notice under, let's say this is one single case, and we have received two notices. One is under notice and demand, and one is under the other stage. So this is about the life cycle of the case. And here we can see the overview of the particular case detail. Let us switch to the notices under the particular case. So here we have the list of notices listed for the particular case. Let's say we want to view the details about a particular notice. We can click on the view button here. Here we have the proper notice detail page. So here we can see the overview of the notice detail, and we also have the life cycle here. Here we can see that this notice is under notice and demand stage. Let's say by mistake we might map it to some other stage. This provides us an opportunity to just correct our particular stage of a case. So under this we have notice information. These are nothing but the basic information of the particular GST name, notice type, and issue date. And below that we have the ARN number. This ARN number is nothing but the response that we receive from the government portal. Based on this ARN number, we will create the case. Let's say I receive two unique ARNs from the government portal. So two unique ARNs are nothing but two unique cases. Based on such thing, we will create case. And let us move to the document section. Let's go to notice that has a proper document. A moment. Yeah. So this case has the two notices, and let us go to the document section here. So this notice has supporting attachments. Here, let's say if we want to view this document, you can just click on the preview and see the document. And if you want to download it, we can just click the download button here, and it will get downloaded. So let us switch back to the case we notice part here. Beside here we have this AI case assistant. Just few minutes back, Venu sir was mentioning about how to understand the notice, or how we can draft, understand the summary of the notice, how we can draft reply, or how we can understand the risk of it. So let us use our AI case assistant so that we can get to know the summary of a particular notice down there. One second. Yeah. So here we have the summary section. Let's say I want to generate the summary for this particular notice. I can just click on the generate summary part here. We will just send, we have this AI case engine, which send some, properly prompt, and we can get a proper response from our AI agent that we have trained. So yeah, from our AI agent, we have received the summary section. Let us, if you want to view it properly, we can click on this preview button. And here we have a proper summary for this particular notice. If we want to copy this, you can copy it and paste it in our document so that we can refer. The first most important thing is that whatever our AI generates, please make sure that it is proper, and please cross verify that the information that is generated is correct or not. And let's say after generating the summary, we have understood what our notice is, and let's now I have to draft a reply. We can move to the reply section and click on the generate draft button here. As we have already created the summary of it, our AI case agent will already have the context of what our notice basically is. So we have got a draft reply for this particular notice. Here we can view it under the preview section. We have got a properly formatted reply response from the AI agent. So again, it is recommended to cross verify the information that is generated. And we also have this risk option. So let's say we have received a notice and we want to assess the risk level of a particular notice. We can click on the risk analysis button, and we get the risk score based on three metrics here. We have the risk factors, so it gives us a list of risk factors. We have something like significant tax liability, potential interest liability, and many more. And it also gives us a mitigation steps to how could we resolve this as early as possible. It has given us five mitigation steps to clear this thing as much as early as possible. So this is our case assistant that we have developed. And let's say we want to assign a task for a particular sub user for the notice we have received. So we have this task section. So let us click on that, and let's say I want to add a new task. We can just give any name for the task and any description for the task. And we are already under the GST and 1ZR. Notice ID is automatically picked. You guys don't have to do that manually. And if you want to assign a particular due date for the task that we are creating, we can do that here. We can set the priority of the tasks here. We have three options: high, medium, and low. And this assign to section, it just means that we have a list of sub users under a particular customer, and if we want to assign this task to a particular sub user, we can choose them here, and we can add the task here. So that newly created task has been created here. That's it. We can move. Let's say we want to see the task detail view. Here we can come to the working section. This is nothing but a Kanban board. Uh, this is a simple board where we can arrange our tasks, whether it is in the to-do status or in progress status, review, or is it done. So we have one task under the done section. Let us see the details of that task. So here we have the overview of the task. No, it is the assign is demo user. The status is already done. And let's say, as a customer, I want to add the comments for the task that has already been done. Here we can come and add a comment. So we can add a comment here. That comment gets added under a particular task, and we can also look at the linked notice for the particular task, so that we don't have to go back to our notices tab and come back to go task tab again. So if you want to view the linked notices, we can just click on this notice details, or just below this we have the notice ID. So this is nothing but the linked notice detail. It just redirects back us to the particular notice that has already been created. And we have calendar tab here. This is nothing but this. Let's say I want to I have created a lot of tasks and I want a place to handle all these tasks, or say I want to know when the deadline is. So this is where the calendar part comes in. So let's say uh, if you guys remember, I had created a task for on 30th April, and the due date was on 30th April. Here we can see that we have a task that we have a notice that says we get a notice here basically if the due date of response or the due date of reply is approaching. So the whatever we are seeing in this beside the calendar section, this just says that here is the notice and your due date is on April 30th. So work quickly and just quickly finish this thing off. And we also have the statistics section here. This is nothing but the statistical view of our overall notices section. We have notice distribution by type. It just tells us that it gives a proper statistical information about what types of notices do we have in a customer's account. And we said that we have a notice trend. It gives trend data that what kind of notices we have received in the last 3 months. So we have already gone through the workings. This is nothing but our task Kanban board. If you want to add task here, we can directly add it from our working section. We can just do the same thing that we did earlier under the notice section. We can add a task, give the description, select a particular GST in here, give the particular notice ID, and create a notice task there. So let's say if you want to know some details or in-depth detail about our notices by GSTs and website, we have the help and doc section here. Here we have given a brief in detail description about what all the pages that we have included in our website. So if you want to know what is notices, we already have that question and we also have a proper answer for that. We have already listed all the kinds of questions that a customer might think that he will forget, or if he wants to know about something from our website, he can just directly come to the help and doc section and clearly go through this section. So yeah, this is our also we have one more section on the top, our notification model. Let's say I have added a new event or I have created a new task, and if you want to know what has been done, it will be clearly visible under the notification section here. And let's say to improve our some customers might have their own choice. They might want to switch to the light mode or dark mode. You have also provided the option for that. If we click on this button, it will switch to dark mode. So some might prefer the dark mode and some might not like it. So if you want to switch it back, we can just click it here and you will switch to the light mode. Let's say now we have a notice and we want to merge particular notices back to the one single notice. So here we have provided an option called merge notice. If we click on this thing, let's say we can search this based on a case name. We can do it and we can simply click on content. It here. So yeah, this is our notices by GSTs and website. I hope if you guys have any questions regarding this website, you are free to ask questions about our notices by GSTs and website, or for the presentation that we have done.
Thank you, Anmol.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Anyone, any questions that you have? We are free to take questions on the subject. Why notice I got this type of notice, or questions, how do I subscribe, etc. In fact, we have customers across India. We're happy to serve all customers pan India. A lot of leading good brands as our happy customers. We're happy to take questions. You can reach us by scanning this QR code. You'll get tuned to our regular WhatsApp updates. You have our help desk number 7406441122, or you can reach us support@gstzen.in. Any questions before we conclude? You can put it into a chat window. We will take up or the Q&A. There's a question. Once a GSTN is activated by OTP authentication, for how long the GSTN sessions remain active? Anmol, would you like to answer this? Okay, Lakshmi has already answered. So it would always be active for 6 hours, but there is a premium feature. We can do a renewal of it and it can make it active till 30 days. Copy of the presentation, Shivaranjani, it would be shared. Any other questions to anyone? All right, I don't see any questions, and very happy that, okay, we've completed the session on time. Before we conclude, a special thanks to Anmol for making whole of this PPT and the presentation and under the guidance of Pranit. And special thanks to Lakshmi for hosting the session, managing through and through. Thank you, audience. We will again catch up with you in the next session. Till then, see you. Bye-bye.